The US Open just happened. And during the US Open, they did something really incredible. They did this thing called Rangecast, where you can take any player that played in the US Open and see every single shot that they hit on the range. Because of this, you can start to see some really, really interesting things. Most notably, we can see the launch angle of all these shots. And I started to notice something that was really, really crazy. The first player that I noticed it with was Joaquin Niemann. And if I go to him and I start to go out to, let's say, even with his wedges, so this shot went 93 yards, it only launched at 21 degrees. This shot here went 94 yards. It only launched at 22 degrees. And I started thinking, okay, well, maybe it was like really windy and they had to like trap it low. But then I looked up the weather and no, it was all rounds. This is how low they're launching it. They're launching it extremely low. This shot is 136 yards, so this would maybe be like a 50-degree wedge. And he's launching it at 14.9 degrees. Look at this. As it starts to get out to what I was using in the videos that you guys saw, I was using like an 8-iron. So this 173-yard shot would be like Joaquin's 7-iron or 8-iron. And he's launching it at 12.7, which was really eye-opening for me because when I was using the GC3 and I was avoiding the noodle and I was launching it at 12 degrees or 13 degrees or sometimes 10 degrees, I was thinking that's way too low for it to be an effective shot. No, actually, that's kind of what the Tour Pro is doing. Look at this 202-yard shot for Joaquin is being launched at 6.8 degrees. Well, maybe that's only, we know that Joaquin Niemann has an extreme amount of shaft lean. Let's go to the winner, Wyndham Clark, and let's go to a similar yardage here. So this one, 203. He's launching this 203-yard shot at 14.2. And if you want to do a tour strike, you have to launch your irons and wedges so low. The other thing that I should say with this, though, is it has to be done with a lot of speed. You do need a lot of speed. Here is Tyrrell Hatton, and he's launching this 219-yard shot at only 10.9 degrees. And if we go to what would be close to his 8-iron, 165 yards, he's launching this at only 14.7. This was really eye-opening. This is Scotty Scheffler is a guy actually that gets put up as an outlier. Like, oh, look, Scotty, he's the #1 player in the world. He doesn't have a lot of shaft lean. He does. He eliminates it almost immediately as soon as the ball's gone. But look at this. He's hitting this 183-yard shot, and he's launching it at 16.4. And it's not just like a fluke one-off shot. We have every shot here. He's launching this 184-yard shot at 16.2. You do need to be de-lofting it. The last video I made about the lag device was a big hit. And the main thing is it works. But I can think of some ways that it can be simpler to set up. Yeah, so this thing can be a lot simpler and I think also better. So I started sketching out some ideas of how I wanted it to work. The first idea was this kind of like brace thing. But that didn't work. That was going to be too difficult. Then I started thinking about how it could just hinge up and I could put wood inside of each pool noodle and then join those together with a hinge. Okay, now I need to find a wooden dowel and some screws and then different pipe fittings and a hinge. This is the smallest one they have, so I'm gonna grab this one. Actually, there's smaller hinges over here. It does, so I think I'm gonna go with that. Looks like this is everything I need. Got everything home, sorted everything up, and solved everything together. For people that are actually handy, watching these videos must be really, really cringe. But this is kind of the best way I can do it. So this is how it's gonna work. All right, this is part one. Problem. It needs a stopper so it doesn't go any further than... There you go.
But then isn't it in the way when you come back down?
My wife said, isn't it in the way when you come back down? That's the point.
I don't know.
The point of it is make a nice, long, forceful swing here. Then it's in the way there, and you hit the ball with the pros attack. Right here you can see this hinge that I made, and then I put wooden dowels to be able to stick in here and then screwed that in. That way it will hold the pool noodle. So the idea is you make your backswing, this thing whacks out of the way, and then there's actually some rubber bands in there that pulls it back into position. So I was using this some and it works really well. I got the height right that I want. The only thing I'm going to do now is see how this is flopsy in there. I'm going to actually then now add another stick in there, just something thin like this, to give that a little bit more shape inside. All right, we're in here. Okay, it's good, but it's just too long. Okay, this is working pretty good. Oh, oh, son of a... Damn it. All right, so the craft wood was a bad idea. So the only other wood I had around was that giant block. So I had to cut it off of that, and that was insanely difficult. All right, I knew it improved. Okay, I got it set up. Let's see, where do I need it to be? Hit that on the way back, and then hit it in front of it on the way through. Everybody always says the old cliche of, hey, they're taking a pitching wedge and they're turning it into a 9-iron. No, they're taking like a pitching wedge and turning it into a 4-iron. Okay, it's getting too late, but we're gonna try this again with the GC3, confirm that the launch is a tour launch. It might come out really low, but your effort to take this angle that's here and let it all out on the ball is going to be a lot of speed, because you're going from this angle here, it's almost like 90 at this point, and you're going, cracking it all out. That's really good. That was really good. Spin axis was only 2 degrees left. I launched this 8-iron at 14.8. Initial thoughts about this is that it's much better than what I had before, because there's no reset cycle I have to do. There's less moving parts. It needs to be more stout and sturdy. I'm almost definitely sure that this will break pretty soon, but it's working pretty well for now. And I actually could even take this to the course. So I'll try it here. So I'm going up, stretch it, and let it kick. So up, stretch the system, then I'm going up here and back there, and that kicks the club through. So it's like here, and like I'm gonna hit a really low shot, then I kick the whole system to hit a high shot. Like that. Was only a 13.2 degree launch angle, so that was really good. Okay, so now let's try to do it without the machine in the way. Okay, that was all right, but I shanked that. So it wasn't all right, that was kick it left. There you go, that was good. 2.5 degrees in out, spin axis was 6 degrees left, and it was pushed half a degree right. So that is like a really great push draw. And it was fast. 86 miles an hour on this choked up 8-iron. That is so far right. That was really good. I don't know if I quite got what I was looking for there. Where P6 is. Yeah, it's pretty, it's fucking shitty. These are all so bad. It's getting worse. 68 degrees, right? Okay, right now this is really terrible. Not what I wanted, because they're all turning basically into effective shanks. Why is that happening? Usually if I'm shanking, it's because I'm taking it too far in. It has to be out, down. All right, that's way better. Okay, let's see what P6 look like there. Yeah, that's what I want. From using this a lot, I've noticed a pattern where you put the machine in, you hit balls in the machine, and you hit them really well, and it gives you great hope. And then you take the machine away, and you start shanking it. Why? That's what I need to figure out. Update, I've been out here working on this for like 2 nights, and I went out to the range this morning, so there's no devices or anything on the range, and my son filmed me face on with slow-mo, and I got the perfect slow-mo that I want without any assistance, and about 8 hours removed from using the machine. So that was really good. Something that I found that I think will help me too tonight is that there's a way to train with this that might be even better than what I was doing. So what I mean is this. What's really important and has been kind of confusing to me is in the machine, I hit it really pure. So that one was 1 degree in out, spin axis of 1 degree to the right, and it was a push 1 degree to the right. So a really super straight shot, and I launched that at 12.5 degrees. But that's in the machine. And in the machine, for some reason that I'm trying to figure out, something happens right here to clear yourself from the machine. And that gives you this great torque strike. So I think the only way to really figure this out is to do a flip-flop. So here's one in the machine. Okay, avoided the noodle. My brain knew it was there, so I avoided it. Path was 0, spin axis was 0, pool was 1 degree. It's perfect. So now I can go here, and because of the way I designed this accidentally, I can just take this and turn it that way. Now it's not in the way at all. And then that's what starts happening. I wish I had a super slow-mo up close of what that shot is, because everything about that, the angle of attack was only 6 degrees down, that's good. The path was 0, but it went way to the right, so I think it's a shank. And something different happens, because that is the pure torque strike that I want. That is super good. And I know if I look at that slow-mo, face on slow-mo, it's going to be exactly what I want. Ooh, I touched it just a little bit. Hit a great shot, but for the first time, I actually touched that. That's the feeling I need to get. And it's the weirdest thing that an obstacle in your way would help you. You would think an obstacle would hurt you, but it's one of the strange things about golf. That was it. It's like a stretch and a flick. That's what it's got to be. Every night for a week, I went out to the back patio and I was hitting balls both in the machine where I had to avoid the noodle. And those almost came up to a strike like this. Then moving it behind me so that it was totally not in the way and trying to figure out, like, okay, what is the difference? So here's one in the machine. So it's a forceful up move that I do. Now here in transition, I'm going down and forward. I clear the noodle, and then everything's really going up. The club head's going down, and everything else seems to be going up. Keep in mind when you see a impact image like this that I was flipping it for like 20 years. On the LPGA tour or with really good players that do not have a ton of speed, you might probably see less shaft lean. but I have speed. So all things together, I would like quite a bit of shaft lean because the club effectively is in a lot more control when it's trailed. Do it in the machine, do it not in the machine, then do it at the course, and then do it when it matters. It's now a different day, and I was editing together that video. I wasn't able to totally figure out the reason why many of the times when I switch from being in the machine, hitting it great, and then I get out of the machine and I start either shanking it or spinning it. The only and best way to figure this out is by using the hack motion, because if you can see what your wrists are doing, that pretty much tells you a ton about what's going on in your swing. So I'm trying to make this really basic and really clear. Hopefully I can just hit 2 shots. One with inside the machine, one outside of the machine, and try to figure out what the difference is. Okay, that was a perfect tour strike. Let's confirm that on here. Yeah. All right, launch-wise, that was a perfect tour strike. 81 miles an hour of club head speed. My path was 0. My angle of attack was 7.8 down, and my spin axis was 6 degrees to the right. So that's the interesting shot that you hit when you're in the machine. It's a tour strike, and I can guarantee I was up on my leg like that. Looking at the graph, let's concentrate on ulnar and radial for the most. See, that's all in the tour range for the most part. Ulnar, so this is what this green line is concentrating on. And here you can see it goes slightly more hinged, and then about halfway up, this is the point here where I'm hitting the noodle on the way up, that vertical part. Then it flattens. Afterwards, it does not have that extended principal's nose that would be like some extra down cock on the way down. It doesn't have a lot of that at all. And then it dive bombs this way back to impact. At impact, it is at a little too ulnar. Yeah, so a little too this way and impact, but pretty good. All right, let's take it off of the machine. Easy enough, I can just turn this to the off position there. Okay, that was a little different. It was a little different. It looks super similar actually in the ulnar. A little flatter. And then I do that, okay, even more. I do this even more. I go ulnar even more, just down at the bottom, a little bit. So that kind of makes sense. If the club is running away from me and I'm shanking it, kind of makes sense I'm doing this more. Okay, so I think that's what I have to do. I think that's the difference. And this is one of the reasons I love hack motion so much, and it is my favorite training aid, is because you can really see what the actual difference is. Small differences, but I think meaningful, is that in my regular swing, I seem to go here and kind of softly around myself. Whereas with the noodle, I go here and then I bust up through the noodle. Okay, that's one thing. Then on the way down, this all looks pretty good, way better than a year ago when I was doing the principal's nose thing on the way down, down cocking, and then having to flick it. Way better. But one thing I could work on is that when I'm in the machine, I attack down to it about like that. And when I'm not in the machine, I'm going radial up a little bit more. My hands are like going up a little more. And I think that's where the shanks are coming from, and that's where the difference is. Let's flip-flop again. So here, I'm going up, down, and through the ball like this, not like this, like this. Like if there was another noodle right here. Let's see. Get rid of rotation, get rid of flexion, extend, ulnar. Yeah, see? That's all in green. That's good. That was good. I think I figured it out. Something I would not have figured out without the hack motion. But what I figured out is two things that have to happen. I need to be here and ramp up on the way back, okay? Ramp up. Then when I'm coming through the ball, I need to level out this way and don't let it get this way. I think sometimes when you try to hold it off, you go ulnar this way. This is ulnar, this is radial. You go ulnar this way to hold it off. But no, you hold it off with the rotation of your body, and you actually go ulnar down, and then you do a little bit of an up kick at the end. So I'm gonna concentrate on that here, ramp up through, and I'm gonna feel this way. Yeah, see, just like that ramp that I just did there. See that, like I'm even, and then there's this part here that goes up. So let's try that again with no ball. Yeah, that's why I love working with a hack motion. So let's see. Oh, that was so good. That is what I need. And that's the tour strike. Let's, so looking at the graph here, now I've got everything in the green. I ramp up here. This is where I'm hitting the noodle, where this line gets steeper. This is awesome. This is awesome. Looking at those numbers, the path was 3 degrees in, out. It was 3.5 degrees down. It was a loft of only 16.9 degrees. And the spin axis was just a little left. And what I like about it, though, was it wasn't cheated. It was a 90-mile-an-hour club head speed swing, so that's awesome. Before I used the hack motion, it was a big mystery why I was hitting it so well when the noodle was in the way, and then so poorly when it wasn't. This is what we figured out. We figured out basically that the noodle is just as much as a takeaway tool as it is a downswing tool. You take it away, and then you want to ramp up this ulnar, this going radial here. You ramp that up here in the kind of whacking the noodle on the way back like that. This part here, for some reason, is very important. If I would miss that and say tuck it this way, that later on becomes a flip. For some reason, becomes a shank or a flip. And most importantly, then, after you've made your move to clear this noodle, if you go down and then try to hold off the face by going ulnar like this, that will extend and actually shank the ball or spin axis it way to the right. So it's got to be extended there, go down, and then right near the bottom, you actually feel like you're exiting left and doing this just a little bit through impact. So here, here, and it's a little bit of a feeling like that. Yeah, just like that. Let's see what the numbers were on that one, because that was awesome. 16-degree launch angle, 3 degrees down, and it was fast and flushed at 90 miles an hour. So that's awesome. This has been another wild adventure. Really exciting to finally crack the code and figure some things out about this. Not everything, but a lot of things out. And I couldn't have done it without the hack motion. If you guys are interested in getting the hack motion, go to hackmotion.com/BeBetterGolf. It's the lowest discount on it anywhere. This new version is super highly accurate and fits on your hand just perfectly. It's every different size of hand that it can fit for. Really, you should do the drills. The motorcycle drill and the release drill and the Faldo drill, like all the drills that are built into it are amazing for regular golfers. But then as you want to get deeper and deeper into the graphs and to be able to flip-flop between, like, why do I hit it good this way but not good that way, you really got to get into the pro version and all the graphs. So it's really works great. So check that out. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later. Bye.